The Steducentre 2015 Grade 8 A&A Exam Review, English, Home Language. Part 4. Boot Camp for Kids Addicted to the Internet. Japan is planning to introduce internet fasting camps run by education experts who will help children overcome the addiction to the online world. More than 500,000 Japanese children between the ages of 12 and 18 are believed to be addicted to the internet. Though the Japanese Education Ministry says it is difficult to get accurate figures on the scale of the problem. The ministry is planning a research project on internet addiction in the next year and has asked government for funding. These programs will be designed to get children away from their computers, cell phones, and handheld gaming devices. We want to get our children out of the virtual world and want them to have real communication with other children and adults, said the ministry spokesman. The youngsters will be encouraged to take part in outdoor activities, team sports, and games. Psychiatrists and psychologists will be on hand to give counseling if the change back to the real world provides true traumatic for any young person. Internet addiction is blamed for sleep and eating disorders in a growing number of young people in Japan. In extreme cases, children show signs of depression. Some can develop deep vein thrombosis, which is generally associated with cramped passengers on long-distance aeroplane flights. Studies suggest that an online obsession also affects school performance. Question 29. Rewrite the following sentence in reported or indirect speech. Make all the necessary changes, including punctuation marks. Inverted commas. We want to get our children out of the virtual world and we want them to have real communication with other children and adults. Comma, close inverted marks, said a ministry spokesman from paragraph 4. Question 30. What is the meaning of the word fasting as used in paragraph 1? Is it A, to avoid eating and drinking, B, to stop all use of the internet, C, to use the internet infrequently, or D, to use the internet responsibly? Question 31. Select the meaning of addiction as used in paragraph 6. Is it A, internet users generally also use drugs, B, youngsters cannot go online frequently, C, people cannot stop using the internet, or D, only sick people use the internet? Question 32. Rewrite the following sentence after correcting the Concord error. Inverted commas. Studies suggest that an online obsession also affects school performance. Full stop. Close inverted commas. The sentence rewritten in reported speech will read, a ministry spokesman said that they wanted to get their children out of the virtual world and wanted them to have real communication with other children and adults. Question 30. The word fasting used in paragraph 1 means B, to stop all use of the internet. Question 31. The meaning of addiction in paragraph 6. The answer is C. People cannot stop using the internet. The answer for question 32 is studies suggest that an online obsession also affects school performance. Question 33. Give a synonym for on hand as used in paragraph 5, line 12. Question 34. Give an antonym for growing as used in paragraph 6, line 14. Question 35. Correct the spelling error and incorrect verb tense in the following sentence. Rewrite the correct sentence. The ministry is planning a research project on internet addiction in the next year and had asked the government for funding. Question 36. Why is the hyphen used in the following example? Handheld, paragraph 3. Question 33. The synonym for on hand is available or present, ready, prepared, accessible. Question 34. The antonym for growing is decreasing, declining, diminishing, lessening. Question 35. The corrected sentence is the ministry is planning a research spell it correctly, Research, project on internet addiction in the next year, and has asked, not had asked, the government for funding. Question 36. The reason why a hyphen is used is because it is a compound word. It's two separate words joined to form one meaning. Question 37. Give the adverbial form of the underlined word to correct the following sentence. Internet use is becoming problem. Question 38. Give the noun form of the underlined word to correct the following sentence. The ministry is not sure about the accuracy of the figures. Question 39. The word cell phone in paragraph 3, line 8 is an abbreviation. Write the word in full. Question 40. Identify the main clause and the subordinate clause in the following sentence. Some can develop deep vein thrombosis, which is generally associated with cramped passengers on long-distance airplane flights. Your main clause is, and the subordinate clause is. The adverbial form of internet use is becoming a problem is. Internet use is becoming problematic. Question 38. The ministry is not sure about the accuracy of the figures. Question 39. The word cell phone is an abbreviation for cellular telephone. The main clause and the subordinate clauses are, the main clause is, someone can develop deep vein thrombosis. The subordinate clause is, which is generally associated with cramped passengers on long-distance airplane flights. Question 41. Read the last two paragraphs of Boot Camp for Kids Addicted to the Internet carefully. Summarize the 5 negative effects of internet addiction. The summary must be in point form. Each point need not be a complete sentence. The length of your summary should not be more than 20 words. Write the number of words used at the end of your summary, and the title has been provided for you. Negative effects of internet addiction. The negative effects that you need to list should go around 1. The sleeping disorders that exist. 2. The eating disorders. 3. The deep vein thrombosis. 4. Depression. And 5. The poor school performance. When you're looking at a dialogue, these are the things you should know. Your dialogue should be brief. It should add to the reader's present knowledge. It should eliminate the routine exchanges of ordinary conversation. It should convey a sense of spontaneity, but eliminate the repetitiveness of real talk. It should keep the story moving forward. It should reveal the speaker's character both directly and indirectly. It should show the relationships amongst people. Quotation marks are used when writing dialogue. 2 or more characters are speaking to each other to show what the writer has borrowed from another book, magazine, or other source. To set off titles of short stories, poems, songs, newspaper articles, etc., and to show that certain words are used in a special way. Question 42. You could choose either 42.1 or 42.2 and write an appropriate dialogue. Write down the question number and the topic you have chosen. You must always remember to show evidence of your planning. Pay careful attention to the following: the audience, register, tone, and style, choice of words and language structure, as well as your dialogue format. Your dialogue will be marked according to the following criteria. Planning and content will be 12 total possible marks, and language, style, and editing will account for 8 of the 20 marks. Question 42.1. You have performed poorly in your last examination. Your parent or guardian has decided to take away your cell phone, and he or she feels that you spend too much time on your cell phone and not enough on your studies. Write a dialogue of 140 to 160 words between yourself and your parent or guardian. Try to convince him or her to let you keep your cell phone. For question 42.2, Your parent or guardian has asked you what present you would like for your birthday that is coming up shortly. Write a dialogue of 140 to 160 words between yourself and your parent or guardian in which you request a cell phone. Try to convince him or her to buy you a cell phone with internet access. In order to do really well when you write a dialogue, you need to understand what the teacher is looking for. When we're looking at the content and the planning, to get exceptional results, which is full marks, you need to have an excellent interpretation of the topic. You must have interesting, imaginative, and persuasive ideas. And evidence of planning results in a well-constructed and relevant presentation. If you want to be skillful, which means you'll get between 8 and 9 out of 12, you need to still have an appropriate interpretation of the topic with persuasive ideas. There needs to be evidence of planning results in a well-constructed and suitable presentation. To be moderate, you still need to have an accurate interpretation of the topic. You will have average ideas lacking depth, and your evidence of planning will result in a satisfactory presentation. To be considered elementary, that is getting between 4 and 5 marks. You'll see that your content will lack adequate coherence. There will be few ideas, and your ideas will be often repeated. There will be a lack of planning. That will result in a poorly constructed and often incomprehensible presentation. To get between 0 and 3 marks, which is absolutely inadequate, you'll have irrelevant content that has no coherence. It will be mediocre and repetitive ideas with no evidence of planning and a very poor presentation. When you're looking at language, style, and editing, in order to be exceptional to get full 8 marks, you need to ensure that you have the tone, register, style, and vocabulary completely appropriate to the purpose, audience, and context. Accurate use of language structures and conventions, and virtually error-free in your presentation. To be classified as skillful, your tone, register, style, and vocab must be suitable for the purpose, audience, and context. Mostly accurate use of language, structures, and convention, and mostly error-free. To be considered moderate, your tone, register, style, and vocab must be suitable to the purpose, audience, and context. There needs to be a satisfactory use of language structures and conventions with some errors. To be classified as elementary, which is 3 out of 8 marks, your tone, register, style, and vocab will not always be appropriate to the purpose, audience, and context. There will be an inaccurate use of language structures and conventions and a high frequency of errors. To be classified as inadequate, where you will only get 2 marks, your tone, register, style, and vocab is completely inappropriate to the purpose, audience, and context. There will be a poor use of language structures and conventions, and your text will be riddled with errors. It will confuse the reader. Thank you for watching the Steducentre, turning ordinary learners into extraordinary leaders.